What's up, Bears fans? The Bears are coming into town for mandatory minicamp this week. Me and Ante Up are going to talk about some of our favorite position battles that we're going to be keeping our eyes peeled for this week. All that and more right here
Yes,
on the
sir.
Chicago Sports Podcast Network.
Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
You.
Here we go, Bears fans. Here we go. It is
Yes, sir.
mandatory minicamp that will be going on the next 3 days in a row where the guys will be out there putting in the work. We'll be seeing the guys who weren't here for the involuntary parts showing up for this. And they kind of did it different this year. Usually you do all your OTAs and then the minicamp, but they're
Yeah.
doing OTAs, minicamp, and then OTAs again next week. So we'll see who stays in town, who leaves. That might be the story we talk about. Me and
Right,
Andy
right.
are here to talk about some of these position battles that we're going to be watching. Just get right into it. Like I'm super jealous that
Yes,
you and my
sir. Let's
man
go.
KB, yeah, super jealous that you and my man KB got to talk a lot of left tackle last week. As I told you, I've got a
Yeah,
man
we
crush
did.
on this man, Ozzy Trapilo, 6'8", 33-inch arms, out of Boston College, played left or right side. They draft him in the second
Big
round.
dog.
He the big dog, absolutely. He got all the first team reps last week. But
Yeah.
Karan Amagaji, he's got 35-inch arms out of Yale.
Yeah.
He got thrown into the
Yeah.
fire last year. This year he gets a whole off season to work it out, and
Yeah. Clean
it's almost
slate,
a
bro. A clean slate.
absolutely. It's almost a blessing and a curse because of course you still got Braxton Jones coming into his final year of his rookie deal. You hate to see a
Hmm.
guy lose his job due to injury, but I just got a man crush on Trapillo, man. And maybe it's the shiny new toy. I don't know, but
No, it's
like I
not
told
that,
you,
bro. You see it. You're old lineman, bro. You see it, bro. You know it. You know, and then just to add on a little bit, the fact that that's really the only position that's in question on our line right now. And I think it's
right?
paramount that we nail it. So yeah, bro. And the guy, he talks the talk, he walks the walk, bro. He seems like all shucks that he's here, which I love because guys like that just dig a little deeper most times. The guys who are like, yeah, I've been good all my life, and yes, I'm in the league now or whatever. But this guy seems to be like he said it still hasn't sank in that he's in the league, bro. I need to hear those type of things, bro.
Yeah, I mean his dad played at Boston College as well and played in the league a little bit. And so yeah, it's kind of it doesn't seem like the bright lights are too for him. He said, yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of hasn't really hit him yet. But I
Hmm.
really like the idea of him locking down that left side. And I kind of think the Bears hope that happens too because I mean they use a high second round pick on this guy. They
True. True.
traded around the draft, and that you would hate to use that draft pick on a backup, really, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah, no, that's a good
but
point.
yeah, I'll definitely be watching that this week and see how all of that plays out. The left tackle
Hmm.
position, like you said, man, it's all locked down. The rest of that, you got Joe Tooney
Yeah.
at left guard up. That's all pro.
Yeah.
You got Drew Dahlman at center,
Absolutely.
the highest paid free agent you bring in. You trade for Jonah
Yeah.
Jackson at right guard, who, as we've said, Pro Bowler under Ben Johnson back when he played in Detroit, and then you got Darnell earning his
Yeah.
own on the right tackle spot as well.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
That's really the only spot in question is, and
Yeah.
with Braxton Jones's injury, where he's coming back, be ready for game one, or if we'll see a lot of these guys in preseason, or it'll be something to watch, see
Right.
how the reps play out. Like I said, the last 2 weeks,
Absolutely.
they kind of flip flopped each one of them and gave them both a shot.
Which I like too. I like that AC. I like that flip flop.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that it's an open competition and they're really seeing what they've got there at that position. Another position that kind of seems like an open position, RB1's locked down. DeAndre Swift's got it. He's RB1. Because we haven't seen him go out in free agency. We've talked about Nick Chubb, the possibility of bringing in some guys, but for right now, that's DeAndre Swift's job. He's RB1. But RB2 behind him, and I heard Albert Breer on 670 The Score talk about when Jamal Williams was in Detroit with with DeAndre Swift, the way they would split those up. And you saw Jamal Williams just being a touchdown machine. If you're a fantasy football player,
he had double-digit touchdowns that year, bro.
Right. They used him when they got in close, and I feel like maybe we'll see that out of Roschon Johnson. So if you're a fantasy football guy, that seems like a guy that you would take a chance on is Roschon Johnson, because he's going to touchdown and stuff like that. But we'll see how that plays out. And I mean, your guy, Monungai, we'll see if he comes out the gates swinging. Last week we saw the clip of what's the enemy saying you moving like an old ass man. So we'll see if he comes out looking a little bit more spry this week. But you got that going on. And I mean, if you want to talk a little bit about the running back position, go ahead, brother.
Hey man, what I will say is this: Swift again, and I'm beating the dead horse, and I'm going to continue to do it. Swift had 1,300 yards from scrimmage with the situation that we were placed in yesteryear, 1,300 yards. Okay, so now we didn't like moderately upgrade our O-line, bro. Like that was, it's almost an overhaul if you want to be real.
Yeah,
Especially the quality of players we got, and playing next to a great guy is always gonna make you better. So now let's see what this guy does. Elusive, good hands. I think with Swift, his biggest, flaw maybe is I've seen times where I feel like he might have had the home run. Sometimes he tripped over his own feet a little bit, just the excitement. Also, I want him to open his eyes more. Open your eyes more, bro. Like use your eyes, bro. Like I'm not a pro running back, but I saw things that maybe Swift was having trouble seeing last season, that I know that this coaching staff will not let go unseen this year. So I like him as the starter. He got the speed, can break away, he can catch. But then, like you say, after Roschon, he had the concussion. He running hard. That's what he does. He has heart. Dude is not, he's not shying away from contact at all, which I love. We're Chicago Bears fans. Also, maybe he wasn't used as well as he could have been in the past. But again, that was last year. So we're talking about this year. So I want to see what he can do with a solid game plan behind him. And, maybe he breaks out. Then you go Monungai.
Right.
That's my guy. I think this dude is going to really put the league on alert. Like, seriously, man, with how he runs his style, I think it'll translate great, especially with our core being stronger up that middle. So I'm really anxious, and I want him to show off his mitts. I think he can catch. I think he can. He just didn't have the opportunity in the system that he was in. So boom, let's see him, show the whole skill set. Then after that, we can't forget about Ian Wheeler. And Wheeler was making plays last year, bro. Like he had that twitchy off the, like that speed you can't teach, man. He had it, and we saw it. So I think he's still rehabbing now. I'm not sure. I believe so. But let's see what Ian Wheeler can do. It's just a long line. If we were going to go get anyone in the offseason as far as a running back, I would have preferred only two guys, Nick Chubb or my guy DK. DK, because I know DK, he'll take a
Stopping.
screen for 45 quick. That should have been a 10-yarder. He'll take that for 45, and he's tough too. He's twitchy, fast, and tough, and that low center of gravity. But we gotta.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part is Ian Wheeler has to go to the back of the line now, and I think that sucks. But that's football for you. So I think a couple guys are really gonna show their tail before these guys got their 6-week vacation, bro. I really think it's going to be multiple guys. We know what Swift can do for the most part, but I think it's going to be a few guys that show out, and it's going to we got a good problem here. So I'm excited, bro. Like, I'm super excited about our running back room.
Yeah, I definitely love what you said there at the start where you talked about our upgrades at the offensive line position. We seem to give a lot of these guys a pass. We give Caleb a pass quite a bit of all the sacks that he took last year because of the offensive line he was playing behind and because of coaching. Well, that's going to go for your running backs, your receivers, your tight end, everybody. The same things can be said about that.
Sure.
If you have a better offensive line, your whole squad is going to go better. And you did mention about Swift sometimes wasn't seeing the hole correctly. It seemed like he's kind of dancing around. He had a hole and he didn't want to hit it. I think Roche and Monungai pushing him from behind is going to be a huge help for that. Yeah. You either got to, Bieniemy's not going to take no crap. He's already shown that. So you're going to have to take advantage of the snaps you're given.
Already.
Absolutely. Or somebody will take your job. Remember, Eric Bieniemy was in Kansas City when they had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who they drafted in the first round. They grabbed Pacheco in the 7th round, and he takes the man's job because they see the reps in practice. I think this is the type of coaching staff that's going to do the exact same type of thing. We're not going to be seeing the Adam Shaheens getting snaps at tight end just because he was drafted in the 2nd round. We're going to be seeing guys work for the snaps, and you get what you deserve, So that'll be, and I love that you talked about Ian Wheeler. That's a guy that a lot of us, we watched season. He was the star of Knox, but that injury, man, we'll have to see where he's at coming back from rehab. I will say just real quick, we got 450 viewers right now. So if you could like, comment, subscribe, come to the YouTube chat and subscribe. When we hit 3,000, I think it's 3,000 followers. Brandon Trax is going to give away a jersey when we get to 3K. So come on in and subscribe, and maybe you'll be the lucky winner of a custom Bears jersey. You can put your name and your number on there, whatever you want. Yeah, absolutely. So come on over and subscribe if you haven't already. But we got shows every single night here. Sir. So yeah, you're never going to be short on Bears content. The next position I'd like to talk about. Absolutely. The next position I'd like to talk about, we'll stick to more weaponry. I want to talk about this receiver position because we talk about Rome stepping up in the 2nd year. We talk about DJ more of a leadership role. He says we're only 12 away from 3K. So come on in and subscribe, y'all. We talk about guys. DJ taking more of a leadership role. Luther Burden III coming in from the draft. He fell on a ball and they thought that he had knocked his wind out, but now it's coming out as like a soft tissue injury. So he's going to be working through that a little bit. And then Zacchaeus, I can't pronounce his first. Is it
Olamide?
Omalade Zacchaeus? Olamide. He was good in Washington, man. I'd like to see what he can do as well. And he's a guy that can get you yards after catch. It seems like they really took they really put priority on yards after catch in the draft. If you watch
that's a good
1920 football drive from last week. Yeah, they were showing in the draft room when they drafted Luther Burden. Poles' wife texts him. She's like, yak yards. I love it. Yards after the catch. I'm loving it. So it's definitely a guy they had their eyes on. We'll see if he can get back out there healthy. Definitely has to take advantage, like we were saying with the running backs, of take advantage of every snap that you're given or
Yeah,
earned, you know,
for
and
sure.
continue from there. But we've got a deep wide receiver group. If you want
Hmm.
to talk a little bit about, I know you love Luther Burden. If you want to talk a little about your
Yeah,
receivers,
but I got you, bro. I'm gonna be a lot less biased this time. Look, bro, this is what I'll say. When was the last time we said the Bears had a deep wide receiver room, bro? Like, you don't even have to answer that right now. But when was the last time we were able to say that, dog?
it got to be
All right,
Marshall and
now
Jeffrey,
that's that.
maybe.
Yeah. But even after that, though,
Yeah,
what was the drop off? I would
right.
say, and not to say that this receiving group was better than Marshall and Jeffrey, but when we had Knox and was that
Mm,
Bennett? And I'm not saying like they just were world beaters, but we had multiple guys who could make a play if they, put in placed in the right
right.
position. And then Devin, I know Devin wasn't an line receiver, but when they put him there, he made some flash plays. But okay, the point is this, man. Now, again, like you said, the competition. So Alameda, I did my research on Alameda. He would run some of the best, most twitchy routes you've ever seen and get wide open, sir. And
Hmm.
whew, and I think sometimes, like they say in basketball, when you wide open, it's like the toughest shot at times. This guy was dropping those things, those
We
gimmies.
saw we
He was dropping them, bro. Like
saw it
Alameda.
with we saw with
What
Valus
we see?
Jones, man. How many times was he down there running
No,
wide open and the
absolutely.
dude can't catch the ball?
Ugh. Now, look, I will say this, though, AC. I will say that Alameda is a much more polished receiver than Valus Jones could ever dream of. Also, I'm not forgetting those gimmies, bro. You were missing layups. All right, I have a short memory. So moving past that, I think with knowing the fact that you got Luther Burden, who I know is going to come out of the gates going crazy. Rome, they can't stop talking about this guy. And then you got a DJ who has done it in this league for years on top of years with all sorts of
Hmm.
quarterbacks. You have no room, no space. You have the capacity for you to drop a layup or miss a layup, blow a layup should be non-existent, bro. Like seriously. So again, that comes with that competition, man. And you got guys in there. If you got a bunch of guys, undrafted guys, and I'm not saying just because you're undrafted, you're not like a dog or anything, but if you got a bunch of guys who just come to work to get a check and make a couple plays here and there, energy transfers. And it's like, okay, well, let me see what I'm going to do here. But when you got guys who want to be great and got chips on their shoulders and got paid big money and want to show that they're worth it and they know that they're in a good system and really want to win, you have to take advantage of every single opportunity you get, bro. So that's why Alameda
Absolutely.
already, I'm not even worried about those layups being missed because he sees what's in front of him, bro. So
Yeah.
this group
Well,
this group can be special if all things align, dog. Is all I'm saying.
absolutely. I was gonna go another direction after we talked receiver, but you kind of gave me,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of layups, you kind of segued me into what I'd like to talk about. And that's this
Okay.
quarterback position. We talked about
Yeah.
Caleb. He had the special in college. We saw some of the
Yeah.
special last year, but we're still missing the layups sometimes. That's something he's got to
Yeah.
work on. But
Yeah.
behind him, we just thought Tyson Bagent was going to be anointed. He's quarterback too. But
Oh, yeah, for sure.
don't look now. Don't look now. But behind him, Case Keenum's coming for that job.
Case
This is
Keenum.
a guy
Yeah.
who was
Case Keenum is
he
there.
was yeah. Case Keenum was talked out of retirement. He came in. He came in to have a 5-minute conversation with Ben Johnson. He said 2 hours later, I'm ready to sign a contract. so
Oh
so it was just dudes
wow.
talking ball. And
Wow.
if you know anything about Case Keenum, it goes all the way back to college. He played at Houston. He had the record for most passing yards in college football. Then he gets into the league. He kind of bounces around a little bit. He goes to Minnesota. He wins a
Mm-hmm.
playoff game. A lot of people forget he
Yeah,
was the Minneapolis Miracle. Was Case
for
Keenum to
sure. For
Stephon
sure.
Diggs. Um,
For sure. That's a
he
fact.
goes down to right. He goes down to Houston. He helps out C.J. Stroud in his young career. Teaches him. Remember last year? Remember we saw the story come out, and Caleb said, "Yeah, they didn't really teach me not how to watch tape, he kind of clarified it. He went back and said, it's not that I didn't know how to watch tape, but they weren't giving me like the shortcuts and the watch for this and learn this and that so you can get the best bang for your buck while you're watching tape.
Yeah.
Case Keenum's a veteran, bro, and he can do things with this quarterback room that the coaches can't do. And I think it's going to be extremely helpful for not only Caleb but also Tyson. Tyson wants and Keenum said that Bajan has a spot in this league. Reminds him a lot of himself as he was coming up. So it might not be here because we have Caleb. Hopefully he hits, and that's who you expect going forward. But if Tyson Bagent can turn into something, remember back in the day, and I know you go way back, Ante Up, the guys that we watched up in Green Bay, the Mark Brunels, the who was the other guy that left out of there and they got a big deal for, they always had the backup quarterbacks who they could trade off,
waiting in
get
the wings,
draft
bro.
picks. Exactly. If we could set something up like that where you got guys coming up through, and I heard Case Keenum's press conference and I had to talk about it because he sounded like a coach out there on the field. I remember Chase Daniel, what he did for Trubisky.
My
Trubisky
dog. I
didn't have
love
it all there.
Chase, man. No one ever talked bad about Chase, man.
Right. I mean, Trubisky didn't have it all there, but you got to have that veteran presence to teach these guys how to be a professional.
You're right. They don't, absolutely.
It's almost like they expected Caleb to walk in and be a professional quarterback without the tutelage, and I think it's imperative. I think it's imperative that they've added Case Keenum. But yeah, the layups, that'll be something to watch. I know the OTAs last week, they said Caleb had some difficult days, so that'll definitely be something to keep an eye on. How's he throwing? What's his accuracy look like? He hit Rome a couple times. I saw some video of that, and so I'll definitely be watching that quarterback position. Did you want to? I know I kind of rambled there.
No,
did you want to talk about Case?
I got a couple spices to add on, but you definitely did a dope job of covering most of it. I'll say this, bro, about the quarterback room. I believe, of course, you got to check their performance out. We won't be able to do it, but the coaches and the staff have to check their performance and check their temperature and keep a close eye on it. But I don't even see why there would be a conversation about Bagent being the backup, bro. And I'm not trying to. No offense to Bagent, man. He came in, won us a couple games. I like he was poised. There was guys hanging off of him. He was still doing his thing. But you got a guy that's figured out how to stay in the league, dog. Do what you say, the most yards in a college game or season?
It was a career. I believe it got passed this year by Dylan Gabriel.
Well, for his career?
Yeah, for the career. He had the most passing yards in a career in college football. But I think Dylan Gabriel passed it.
Come on, man. All right, so number 2.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, this guy, man, he stuck around for a reason, man. He sticks there. He knows how to be a professional. There shouldn't even be. I think Cases will be our backup, and Bagent is going to find some shine elsewhere. I think that's how it's going to go down. Or if it happens differently, that's fine. I like Bagent a lot, man. He seems like a tough kid. I love his interviews. Came out there, was getting rocked behind that line and still trying to deliver that thing. Made plays. Excuse me. But Case should definitely be the number 2, because if our defense, and I'm segueing just a slight tad, if our defense is what I think it should be under DA, we're going to need someone who's, walked the block a few times to keep us afloat if anything, God forbid, happens to Caleb. So I would trust Case doing it. He's done it at a high level in the playoffs, bro. Like he won a playoff game. This isn't. So just imagine regular season. He's just doing his muscle memory and stuff. So if our line I told you the line should come out of the gates rocking. That's how I feel. I think Case should definitely be the backup. Just period. So but yeah, man, I'm excited about all of the competition, and I'll watch. I'll say this. I'll watch Bajent's career no matter where he goes, because he I like the guy. I do. So I'll check him out anyway. But give me cases that back up and we'll figure out the rest.
I feel that way about Justin. I got a Justin Fields signed football back here. I love the guy in the draft. I told my wife, I said,
I support Justin.
As long as he don't end up in Green Bay, I will always cheer for Justin Fields.
We good. We good. There you go. Talk to him.
But
as long as he ain't, but no, absolutely. I'm happy for Justin. I think he's gonna go over there and do some things, bro. He got a receiver that he's had chemistry with since college.
Yeah.
And I just hope the Jets do right by him. I know people think we gave him such a raw deal and you guys never did this and that. We tried to do things.
It's a different regime
change.
Yeah.
People, it's different. Yeah, the circumstances are different. So I don't get too caught up in all of that. But yeah, bro, I root for him, man. But that's how I feel about our QB room. I really want. I want Justin. I'm sorry. See, here you go. See, you got to talk about Justin. I want Caleb to just be a sponge, like I know he will, and learn everything he can from this guy that has figured the league out, man.
And that's another thing
he's figured out how to stick around.
That's another thing that Case talked about. He said, he's beating me in the building. Kevin Byard talked about, when he leaves at night, sometimes Caleb still be in there. And they said it wasn't necessarily always like that last year. And I think a lot of that had to do with the pieces that were around him. Like he said, they didn't tell me how to watch tape. I didn't know. I mean, I can watch the tape, and somebody who's never watched football can watch the same tape as me, and we can see two completely different things. Because,
absolutely,
as a former player and someone who's watched tape in the past, I'm not an expert by any means, but I know a thing or two as compared to Joe Schmo on the street.
Absolutely.
So I think it's definitely a big thing. It seems like the work ethic's there. Caleb's putting in the work to be the man, and I'm so happy to hear it. You did talk about DA for a split second there, and the veteran leadership on the defense. And James Childers brings up a good point here, and I've seen this rumor floating around too. Something about Von Miller, the free agent, saying he's got one more year left. I know this is kind of a curveball. I didn't really talk about it pre-show, but that edge rusher opposite of Montez Sweat. Yes, we brought in Dio Dangbo from the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, we drafted Austin Booker last year in the 6th round, who I love out of Kansas, but he's a young guy still trying to put on weight, and he's got a lot to prove. Think about bringing in a guy like Von Miller to man that other edge rusher. Do you think we might have the pieces already and kind of don't want to mess up the chemistry?
I feel like DA has his prototype, bro. And I got to give a shout out to D Nice. Hope you're watching, bro. I got to give a shout out to D Nice because, he kind of addressed the fact that DA likes the more interchangeable lineman. Like DA probably doesn't even think of an N or DT 3 technique. He just likes his particular sort of lineman, in my opinion. So he wants the guy who can go in the middle, beef up a little bit, go out there and just spank the guard or whatever, the center. And then he likes the guy who can also go out there and put the belt on the tackle.
BTAs, like, right?
Bigger guys, but super, type of vibe. Yes, affirmative, sir. So I don't know. I mean, Von Miller is a legend, bro. Von Miller's a legend. I'm not speaking down on Von Miller. It's just that, are we a Von Miller away from just taking off?
That's a good point.
Like, for the Tutelage, I get that, and I'm all with it. And like, I like Von. Von has won me a few dollars in my time. So I don't know, bro. Like, me personally, if it's not for the Tutelage, then what are we doing? I'm not saying he don't have anything left, but we not one D end away from just, at least I don't think we're, and if I could be wrong, we might be one D end away, but I don't think we're gonna ever get that D end. And you know who that is, that guy over there in Ohio. But Yeah, that guy over there in Ohio, man, old Hendrickson. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm right in the middle. I'm right in the middle on it, AC. I'm right in the middle on it. Like if we got
Yeah.
Vaughn, I'd be stoked. But if we didn't, I don't mind this push for the younger, youthful, more energetic guys who you can mold into what you want them to be, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I think your point about I don't think we're a Von Miller away. I think that's the perfect analogy in my opinion. I love Von Miller as just like you
Me
said.
too.
You know the guy's put in his work. I was hoping he got himself a ring last year in Buffalo, but it didn't work out.
Yeah. Right.
So we'll see what he does this offseason, where he lands. You know he's going to land somewhere. Somebody
Yeah, for
will give
sure.
him a
For sure.
job because he still puts in that work. But I don't know if he's just that dude away. But I did hear something come out last week when they talked. I believe they talked to Montez Sweat, and he doesn't talk a whole lot. So you're
No, he
not going to
doesn't.
pull a ton of quotes from him. But he did mention that Dexter was becoming a leader on the defensive line, which I was a little surprised by because you have Andrew Billings, who I love. KB is his
Yeah.
cousin, so
Yeah.
he's almost like family to me. Me and KB go way back.
Yeah.
And next to him, you got Grady Jarrett, who you bring in. So you got two Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees in the middle of your defensive line.
Right.
And he talked about Javon Dexter taking that leadership role. And that's a guy, Javon Dexter's 6'6", 2 something. He lost some weight. So he's a big dude. He could play that edge if you need him to. I
Yeah.
wonder, it'll be interesting to see how DA moves these parts about. Speaking of D-line, just before we move off of it, I did see a photo this week of Andrew Billings catching a ball. So, hey, maybe we'll see Ben Johnson get. I mean, maybe we'll have the refrigerator again. I don't know. I would, as a '97 jersey owner, I would love to see Andrew Billings getting a touchdown. But
Hey,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how everything plays out.
hey, Ben did his homework, bro. He said he know what Chicago fans need. Let's get Billings on out there, man. He'll get it done, bro. But nah,
Yeah,
seriously, man. And oh
just
yeah, just
don't do it.
huh?
Don't do it when you're down 7.
Don't do, no. Oh, dude, you're giving me flashbacks here. Chill. So look,
Sorry,
seriously, just to add a little Salt Bay to what you just said, bro. The Javon Dexter has gotten better every season he's been with the Bears. I mean, period. The man, I'm talking about not just him being in shape, and that's a beautiful thing. Of course, you
right.
have to be in shape to play that game. But I mean, like we've seen it: fumbles for us, sacks, stops, backfield tackles for loss. Like, dude has gotten better every year. So it makes me kind of a little feel a little bad for talking so. I don't know. I kind of threw Zach Pickens under the bus a little bit, but everybody's time is a little different, man. Javon went out there. He was draft higher. He knew what he had I don't know. He just went out there and just did Javon things. And then it's like, I'm going to chill on Zach Pickens is my point. I'm going to chill on him, bro. Because I spoke
Right.
pretty
Hey, I'll
bad
be
about
honest.
I spoke pretty bad about Zach.
Hey, I'll be honest. I was live on the bar room while they were doing the draft. And as a Kentucky fan, I was a
Yeah.
season ticket holder at the time. I watched both of these guys live, and I liked Zach Pickens better. Honestly, I liked him to be switched. I wanted Javon Dexter at nose, and I wanted Zach Pickens at 3 tech, but they didn't see it that way, and Zach Pickens hasn't worked out the way I thought he would. Dexter, long as he can get the get off, man, he's still like slow getting off the ball, and you just can't have that on the defensive line. Just real quick, we're over 800 in the chat right now. So if you guys hit that subscribe, I don't know if we've hit our goal yet. Like I said, we were 12 away from it earlier, away from 3K.
Let's get it, y'all.
Share this with your friends. Tell them to come on in and subscribe. Me'll wind up getting a nice, clean, crisp Bears jersey.
Come on now
for the new season. I mean, we talked to D-line. I think the secondary is pretty well secured. I don't know how much
Yeah.
competition we'll see there, other than maybe some guys getting some reps like Zay Frazier and maybe one of the new safeties or something. But the linebacker position, you got Tremaine Edmonds working for that contract. You got TJ Edwards, who got paid again this offseason. I love that guy. I think that might be my next Bears jersey. I'm not positive.
He's the foundation at that LB position, bro.
Right. But you got the other linebacker position. They drafted Hippolyte in the 4th round. Crazy speed, 4.4 speed, out of Maryland, flying all around the field. But a little nugget came out last week of a guy that they were trying out at that same linebacker position. A guy named Daniel Hardy, who played edge rusher for us last year, made a lot of special teams plays. Toward the end of the year, if you were a Bears fan, toward the end of the year, you saw him making some plays. He's got the size and the speed to play that linebacker position. Yeah. I'm kind of excited to see how this turns out. And we'll be watching minicamp. You'll be watching OTAs. You watch the preseason. What do you? I know you're a Hippolyte guy. Do you think Daniel Hardy gives him a run for that, or what?
Hey, listen, I'm very much so a Hippolyte guy. I'm beating the tables for Hippolyte. Also, I watched every single Bears game last year, and I saw the impact, the plays that weren't registered as stats that Hardy made. I watched him because I was like, man, wow. Because, he was making noise in the preseason. I was like, whoa. He did. I think he made a big play in that game we won against the Packers when we beat them at home. Oh, that sounds so good.
I feel like, was he the one that he blocked a punt or something like that? I feel like he made a big special team.
Now we're talking, AC. Now we're talking, bro. He was making plays, bro. So I love the fact that the new regime recognizes that and give him a shot. If he beats my guy by a mile, I love it. Good problems to have, right? I want Hippolyte to shine. I want him to show his skill set. I want him to do all of that. But if Hardy, who was with us already, he was with us during the storm. Hippolyte wasn't. And that's no offense to him. He was a college kid. But that guy was with us during the storm, and he was still playing 1,000 miles a minute, dog. So I cannot wait. I'm going to have a close eye on both of those guys, probably closer than most of the people, or most of the players, rather. Hippolyte and Hardy, So, two,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm happy about Hardy that. Was a guy. He was a guy that was kind of up and down. They would put him on the practice squad. They would call him back up when they need an edge rusher.
Yeah, true. Say,
right,
but he's stuck. But he's stuck though, AC.
Absolutely. He stuck around and worked, and I would love to see his hard work pay off. At the very least, you need the depth position. You need the depth. And to me, especially, look at this a different way, because technically, I feel like we're going to run a lot of nickel again. You just pay Kyler Gordon to play your nickel, so you're going to see him a lot. So you really only keep 2 linebackers on the field for most of the time. But the way the kickoff rules have been, linebackers and safeties are super important for special teams, because they can get down there and make a solid tackle, make a good wrap up, because I feel like they're trying to make the rules to where it's more exciting. And I think that those positions are perfect for special teams. But,
I agree, bro.
Man, I think we've wrapped it up here, man. We talked quarterback, we talked O-line, we talked defense, we talked wide receiver. We've talked a little bit about everything. Shout out to Cheryl Childers in the chat. She's talking about Tigers, White Sox. Tigers are up 10-1 in the 7th on the White Sox. As you can see, I'm a Cubs fan. I don't have to worry about tonight. We are on our way to.
You see me in the background. AC.
I'm sorry. I give KB crap too because he's a Sox fan.
Look, just to honorable mention, I'm going to be paying close attention to Hightower, our special teams coach. Because I want to see, clearly for him to stick, he's done something right in this league. But I think he has a lot more to work with now, bro. You feel me? And I'm really, I think our special teams should be ranked pretty highly because again, returning, know a lot of the guys. Then we got some new toys to play with. Some guys might so with Hardy and Hippolyte, whoever ends up, getting that spot, I trust the other guy to hold down special teams, if you know what I mean. Like Hardy showed he can do it already. But if he beats you out and becomes that third backer, we real quick, Sewell. I've been hearing solid things about Sewell. I'm pretty hard on him, bro. I'm super hard on him. So I've been hearing good things about him. They say he's looking lean and ferocious, and they say he's moving around out there, and he really wants to show the new regime what he can do. So let's keep our eyes on Sewell. I love to be proven wrong when I make my judgments or what have you. But I hope Sewell shines. I want everybody to shine on our team, but I hope Sewell proves me wrong, bro. So just a little honorable mention,
Yeah, I've been seeing that too. He kind of chiseled up during the offseason, and we haven't talked about it, but you talk about Hightower sticking around. They brought in some competition at that kicker position. They brought in an undrafted free agent. I can't remember. I want to say Michigan State or something. So we'll see. I know last year I was disappointed when they were because I like Santos. He's accurate. But I feel like every team in the NFL can kick it from 60 now except for us. And that's a detriment to
that's a good point.
To what you got to put together. So if it's an open competition and something, Santos is out of a job and gets beat out by a cheaper option and an option that I don't want to say it'll happen. It could very well still be Santos, and I'll be fine with that. He's accurate.
It might, like we said previously, though, AC, it might elevate Santos. Not to say that just because you got competition that your leg becomes a total robot and you can just kick 60 yards. But, again, if I know someone is coming from my spot, I'll figure out, what do you need me to do better? All right, and I'll work on that. So maybe we might get the best out of Santos because I really do like the dude. I just know, we right off the lake. Most of the guys we play, well, not most of the guys, but our biggest nemesis is outside, frozen tundra. Like we need that boot, bro. We need to know that. I don't want to go for it on 4th and 10 because we know that you can't kick a 58-yarder. Give us a shot. So I don't know, man. I don't know how that's gonna play out, but we gotta build on that and talk about that one a little more because that kind of just made me anxious a little bit, bro. Like thinking about that, like I don't know. And do you want to just invite someone in and you don't know that this guy can, because he won that last game for us in Green Bay, bro. He won that game. It was shaky, but he got it in there, and that's all that matters. So is the grass really greener? So that's something we need to pay some attention to. And we're going to touch on that one in the near future too, guys. But thank y'all for checking in and being in here and representing, guys. And tap that follow and subscribe and all of that, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be something that we'll watch in the preseason and see how it all plays out. But hey, absolutely. Go Cubs, go, baby. I got 2 dogs. One's named Wrigley, the other one's named Banks. Oh
my goodness.
Yeah.
You a Cubby for real,
absolutely.
Bro.
Absolutely.
That's dope, AC.
Just like Ante Up said, like, comment, subscribe. Come over here to the YouTube page and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to tell you when we go live. But we go live every single night talking Bears, talking Cubs, talking the White Sox, talking all that stuff right here on the Chicago Sports Podcast. Until tomorrow, well, until next week for us, bear down.
Yeah, bear down. Yeah, see, that was the one right there, bro.